morning are my guests Lori Motal and Mindy Park from So Loved, a local shoe charity organization which is making a difference in children's lives. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking the time out this morning and, sharing this hour with us to talk about, a So Loved. It's going to be a very interesting thing to talk about the organization. And, me living in Sugar Land, I didn't even know that this organization is doing so much work in our community. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited to be here and excited to share about our mission of putting kids, new shoes on little kids' feet to bring them hope.
Yeah, and I can't wait for you to share some stories, some really, uplifting stories that
Absolutely.
have changed children's lives.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's begin with y'all.
Okay.
How did, your brief introduction and how did y'all get involved in this organization?
Sure. So my name's Lori Motal, and I've been around with Soul Love since the very beginning, before it even really began. Several years ago, Stacy Bourgeois is our founder and executive director, and her and I served the homeless downtown in Houston through another organization called Kylie's Prayer, and month after month we would go down and just bring kind of whatever we collected, and we had a couple different spots that we would, there was a large homeless population. We would take whatever items we collected, whether it was clothing or hygiene products, any of those things, and sometimes shoes too, and down to the homeless. And one weekend that we were there was an individual, a lady that came up right as we were packing up to leave, and she was barefoot. She had a heartbreaking story of how she had ended up on the street, and she was just asking, do we have anything left that we could give her? And we rummaged back through what, we had left over in the cars and things, but Stacy ended up talking with her for a long time and came to find out that they had the same size feet, and Stacy had on a brand new pair of tennis shoes she had just purchased a couple days before, and ended up just giving the lady those shoes and had a really special moment with her. And Soul Love kind of birthed out of that, where Stacy began just collecting shoes month after month for the homeless. And after doing that for a little bit, we had a organization called Common Threads that's with the Lamar Consolidated School District. A friend that worked there had reached out asking if we would be interested in helping provide shoes for kids at one of their back to school events. And that was in 2016. We weren't officially a nonprofit at that point yet, but had been collecting shoes for a while, and we, started asking friends and neighbors for some monetary donations to help us and some donations of shoes. We did some very small fundraisers of making some bracelets, selling, pizza fundraisers and different things with the restaurants, how they'll donate a little bit back. And I think we got about $3,000 and got shoes for that event. I think at that point was probably around 800 kids. Oh, wow. And we've been working with that, their back to school events and with that program ever since. So in 2017, we finally made the leap to become a 501c3, and it's just kind of grown from there. And now we work with 62 schools, I believe, across the Houston area. We have schools in HISD, Lamar Consolidated ISD, Fort Bend ISD, Wharton. We do a lot of work out in Kendleton. There's several organizations that we partner with as well for like back to school and holiday events too. So,
wow,
yeah, just trying to make a difference for a lot of kids.
You are.
Thank you.
For sure. And we actually all met through church.
Yeah.
Way before all this. So we were just friends, and one day, Stacy said, "Hey, this is tugging at my heart. I really want to do this." And so, and she just, we were walking one night, and she said, "What about Soul Love?" And she just kind of came up with the name, and she, she kind of explained why, and we're like, let's do it. You have to do it. So that's how.
So y'all have been together right from the
From
start?
the very beginning, yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So y'all have really seen it
grow.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like your other baby.
Yes. It is.
And there's no payroll. We are 100%. So everything we
all the
get,
donations,
all the donations go straight to the kids.
Yeah.
None of us, including Stacy, none of us take a dime from what we do. It's 100% volunteer base. So we do ask for volunteers when there's an event because it's a little overwhelming. But so whatever you donate to us, it goes straight to the kids. There's no percentage that goes to anyone else.
Wow, yeah. So when you first started and you started collecting shoes, where did you put all of those shoes? Because I'm sure I'm trying to picture this in my
It's chaos. We took over Stacy's garage, much to her husband's dismay. And at certain times of the year, even our own garages have little corners full of things. At one point, we did finally have to get like a storage space. And then last year, we were able to purchase a trailer with some money that we received from some grants. And now we take the trailer to get the shoes to and from, because prior to that we were loading up multiple cars and having to make multiple trips back and forth to take shoes to events, and now we have the trailer set up where we can work out of the trailer, and that's been really great. So we have storage space now that houses the trailer and additional shoes.
So did during the pandemic, did that any way like just kind of slow y'all down, or were there how many like challenges were there during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, we missed out on some of the opportunities of some of the events where we were all the face-to-face, but we were still able through the school districts, and there's individuals at several different campuses across our city that Stacy has developed relationships with, and they reach out when they have a student or a handful of students that they notice on their campus. And so we just kind of divvy out and deliver the shoes to them, find out what their sizes are. Those a lot of them are social workers or school nurses, and we'll provide them with a sizer so we know some sizes. And then we try to give kids a choice. A lot of these kids have never had a new pair of shoes, so we'll bring 2, 3, 4 pair for them to pick from, so that they have some options and get some takeaway from that too. And they're just always so excited.
Yeah. I know like I was saying earlier to y'all too, like we take these things for granted, right?
Yeah.
Shoes, who would have thought, right? In our minds, it's like, every kid has shoes, sometimes more than even they really need. But there are so many kids out there.
There are.
Yeah, and you were sharing the story of a child who, first time wearing a pair of shoes as well. Like, what a difference it made, and how it just changes makes them more confident, right?
Absolutely. I mean, so many of the kids that we see, and not only have maybe never owned a new pair of shoes, but a lot of the shoes they have been hand-me-downs from siblings or cousins, and sometimes they'll come to us, or even we'll have school nurses contact us, and these students are in shoes that are, the soles are worn through and there's holes, or the sole is detached and coming off. The shoes are just crumbling, it's just heartbreaking, and oftentimes 2 to 3 sizes too small for their feet. I've had multiple times when we've been fitting students for shoes that even just sizing them, I have to encourage them, like, put your toes flat. They're so used to their toes being curled in their shoes sometimes that they struggle to even flatten out that foot so that we can find the right size for them. And it's always shocking to see that, that usually the size shoe they had was like 3 sizes too small. And when they get that brand new pair of shoes that actually fits, they're so excited, and their little faces just light up. And for some of our older students that are in middle school and high school, to get a nice pair of sneakers that are, oftentimes even a name brand, thanks to a lot of our donors, they're just so over the moon about it. because they found a lot of them have never had that before. So
Yeah. So do you all just take like running shoes, or what do you all take as donations?
So yeah, we try to take just tennis shoes, but it can be like the Converse or Vans type of sneakers, street shoe sneaker or athletic sneakers. But, all the kids that we're serving are in school, and they all, they have to take physical education, and they're required typically to have some type of closed-toed athletic type shoe. So when we like to give the kids choices, especially when the middle school and high school kids come to us, I always ask them, do you have a certain style that you like? Do you want more of like a Converse or Vans street shoe style, or do you want something that's more like an athletic shoe or something you can play basketball in? And they'll tell us that, and it just, and we try to find something that matches their personality to the best that we can. We're not a shoe store, but giving them some options so that they get something. We want them to get something that they're going to be happy with and enjoy too. So,
and I'm glad. It's nice to know that you'll give them choices.
Yes,
that's important too.
It's so important for kids. So, and in my regular job, I'm a teacher too. So, that's the saying that transfers from the classroom into this, because when you give kids choices, there's empowerment there for them, and they really get to own it that way. So it's not just a handout or here you must take this. They get to pick, which I think is really, really important.
Yeah. And so do you partner with other organizations as well?
Absolutely. We partner with several different organizations for, especially with our back to school events. Like I said, mentioned earlier, Common Threads, which is through Lamar Consolidated School District, but also East Fort Bend Human Needs is another one that we partner with. There's Patrice's Kids is an organization here in Houston that Patrice is just a wonderful lady that does a lot of work with foster children and kids that have come from abusive situations, and we've partnered with her for several years now. At Christmas time, she does a big event for kids, and we always come and do the shoes there. We partner with Houston Angels, which is another organization that works with foster families here in the city, and they do amazing work. We were actually just helping them out yesterday with the back to school event, and we typically work with them during the holidays too. So there's a whole lot. Casa de Esperanza, I think, is another that we've worked with in the past. And then, like I said, all the different school districts as well, and we have all those.
So your reach is pretty...
the reach is pretty far across the city. We do stay, strictly the greater Houston area. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and getting to meet people from different organizations and different places too. It's exciting.
Yeah, you probably get to know a lot of people, the connections you make, and the stories you'll probably exchange and get motivated by just listening to each other.
Yes. Absolutely.
I see the joy in your face.
Yeah.
Smile.
It's just fun. It's an exciting thing to do, and you just get to see so much positive change for kids. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the kids shouldn't have to really worry about shoes. That would be
think, right? The last
yes, exactly.
Yeah. There's so many kids now that are in families that are just struggling, and a lot of our students are at Title I schools, and these are the students that they qualify for the free and reduced lunch, and they get a lot of the school supplies. They have to get a lot of help with that. So if we can help with one more thing that they don't have to worry about, so that they can focus on being able to feed their family and take care of their family, we're happy to do that.
So how much has it grown in the sense, the stats? What are the stats when it comes to children? Is it just the low income families that?
Typically, that's kind of the route that we're at. We do get some families that are like refugees and are recently immigrating, and going through that journey as well. But I think we started out our first year, we did that Common Threads event, and I think we bought somewhere around 800 pairs of shoes for that first event, and now this year we are at just under 4,000 for this past year, and this year I think we're on track to do over 4,000, maybe even close to 5 for 2023. So it's just been slowly, steadily as we've added more partnerships with organizations and more partnerships with school campuses. It's just been more and more kids that we've been able to serve and grow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we've done over 10,000 pairs of shoes.
Total. Yeah.
Since we started.
Okay.
And now the demand is growing, so that's part of the reason why we're here, is so that we can bring awareness to the community, because we need help. So, to allow us to get funds, so we could support all the need.
Yeah. So how can the community help? How can they get involved?
So, what probably the easiest way people can get involved is to just donate. Monetary donations is super helpful, because then we're able to go and purchase the specific sizes that we're running low on and meet specific needs that way. And it's super easy to do that. You can go on our website at soullove.org, and there's a donate tab on there. It takes you straight to that. And we're also this year we're chosen as one of the charities for the Houston Marathon and Aramco Half Marathon's Run for a Reason program. So that's been really exciting. If you have any listeners that are runners and are interested in running the marathon, the half marathon, or the 5K here in Houston in January, they can sign up under Run for a Reason. And we actually, through that program, their registration fee is taken care of. And we just ask them to raise a minimum of $500. And that comes all directly to the charity.
Where is the marathon at?
Here in Houston. Here in Houston, yeah.
Okay.
It's the Houston Marathon and Half Marathon, and there's also a 5K as well. So.
I'm glad it's in January.
It's in January. Yeah. Are you a runner?
No.
I'm a former runner. I'm a former runner. I did do the Houston Half many years ago. Yeah,
There's a lot of walkers.
Yeah, there's a lot of walkers, and there's a 5K. You can. Most people can walk a 5K, but and even if running's not your thing, you can always donate to one of our runners. But that link through the website will take you. Right now, we have it set to take you directly to that. Our link through Run for a Reason, so that you can donate to our specific runners or just directly to the charity. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So anyone, like if someone who wants to participate, they can just try and get people to sponsor them.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they just have to register.
They just have to register, and you choose Soul Loved as your Run for a Reason charity and register under us. And then, we ask, all the different charities have different amounts that they require, but ours was just a minimum of $500, which, most people, if you know, 10 people that'll each give you $50, it comes pretty quick. So,
and you don't have to pay for your registration.
Which
and that's, I think it was like it's like 130
something.
bucks,
Yeah, for the full. Yeah, it's a little less for the smaller races.
Yeah, and
shorter
the weather
races.
is nice too.
Yes.
I keep thinking about
usually. It's been so hot. Oh, we're dreaming of January weather. It's so hot right now. It is very hot. We actually did an event yesterday with Houston Angels, and we were outdoors, and it was sweltering, but it was still a lot of fun, even in the heat. We had 74 kids at that event that got new shoes. And we all got our workout and sweat on. We're all very detoxed now.
This heat, you're just talking about. Imagine having no shoes.
Yes.
That's just. I'm like, it's like that's horrible.
Yes, I mean, you can't walk on the pavement right now
cannot,
barefoot.
No.
You will burn
And you can't
your
just
feet.
keep kids at home doing nothing.
No.
That's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
They love to enjoy the weather, go outside, but with this heat, it has been, more than a month we've had this.
Yes.
Hasn't stopped.
Yeah, it's very challenging.
So it is so important that every child has a pair of shoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
and they're all local too. That's the
Yeah. A lot of these families are in our backyard.
Third world countries, right? We think of donating to other countries to help them, but it's really in our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is so disturbing because we don't think, many of us just live in this bubble thinking it's not us, right? This is Houston. We're in the United States. How can this happen to? We're always thinking about the third world countries or things like that.
Yeah, it's all right here in our community, and that's just a beautiful thing about the city, though, is when people learn about things, they do want to help and rally around each other. And we've seen that time and time again with different, with Hurricane Harvey. We all came together and helped each other. We gave out a lot of shoes around that time too. But,
we did. But we have random people that find us, and then they just send us an email, and then we give them an address, and they just drop off shoes on our front porch.
And that's another way people can donate. If they want to donate shoes directly, they can reach out to us and message us through socials or email info@soulloved.org, and we can give them the address where to send shoes to. But they can. We have some people that just will randomly just send big shipments of shoes from Amazon or other shoe stores and what have you. So that's another way people can donate too.
So you'll only take children's shoes, not adults?
We do take adult size shoes because our middle school and high school students wear adult sizes, right? I know, you mentioned you've got a now 13-year-old.
His is almost a 3 now.
Oh.
Yeah.
3 or 4. So he's still.
So my son's turning 13 next month, and he's in a men's 8 already, and I'm like, oh wow.
How tall is he?
He's like 5'3". He just passed me up, so now I'm wearing heels all the time, trying to still be as tall as.
We see third graders wearing women's 8.
Yeah.
It's just.
So we do take adult and smaller sizes.
And we even take the itty bitty ones because a lot of times the families will show up, and usually we're so focused on the students, but then they have a sibling, so a lot of times we'll measure the little one, like a 3-4-year-old.
Yeah.
And then, and they even perk up because, we just want to make sure they're part of it as well.
Yeah, we even had a couple babies yesterday, and they were little bitty, like 2-3 years old, and, we keep an extra little bit of the small teeny tiny shoes on hand just for those occasions that they want.
And our kids grow out of it so
they
quickly.
Do.
Yes.
They really
those
do.
Are literally brand new shoes.
Yeah,
right? So that comes in handy for somebody else.
We do ask that the donations are new shoes for the sole reason that a lot of these kids have not had new shoes before. When we very first started, we would take some shoes, especially from our local neighborhood, but that were previously used. But what we ran into was we were spending a lot of time and effort having to go through and make sure that they were clean and that they looked newer, and finding that our idea of gently used and some other people's idea of gently used isn't always the same thing. And so we were washing shoes and sitting with Clorox wipes trying to get scuffs off of shoes, and it was so time consuming. And we all have full-time jobs too, and do this on top of that. So we had to really kind of draw a line the last couple of years and say we really need them to be new, if at all possible, because
if you have a pair that your son might have
worn once
and said, I really don't like this, because kids never do that, right? Those we'll take because we don't really need to do anything with it, right? We don't have to wash it, we don't have to, and we'll just put it straight to the trailer.
Okay. And so if someone is like listening right now and say, hey, you know what, I'd like to donate some shoes, and they want to order through Amazon or wherever.
Sure.
So it gets shipped directly to so it's on the website, all the information?
Yes, all the information's on the website. And also we're on Instagram and Facebook. It's just at Soul Loved. And feel free to message us any questions at all about that too. We're happy to answer that. Or you can email info@soulloved.org. And Stacy gets those emails directly, and we'll get back to you. But we get messages constantly throughout the day. So with people asking questions about donations, and we're always happy to answer
And
those.
is anyone there at the drop-off place?
So it's our drop-off right now is still at Stacy's house, or we'll additionally sometimes take donations too. So that's why I encourage people, just message us, because depending on what part of town you're into, we may be able to work around some of that too, if it's something where they need to meet up but can't get all the way to Sugar Land. There are times that some of us are in town too. So
Okay. And do you also, like, if any of the high school kids, they're always looking for volunteer work.
absolutely.
So do you all have high school kids as well?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of students that volunteer with us to get their volunteer hours, but so many that just really enjoy doing it. A lot of times those are our back to school events, and events around the holidays is the time we need a multitude of volunteers. And if you follow all our social channels, we usually put out a call for those and a sign up. For a place to sign up to do that, and then just different times throughout the year. Occasionally, we'll post when we need some help, sorting shoes or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, the best way to find out about those is follow us on social. Yeah,
Thank God for social media.
I know, right? What did we do before that?
All right, so let's go on a short break, and when we return, we will continue our conversation with Lori and Mindy. This is Chai Time on 99.5 FM. Welcome back to Chai Time on 99.5 FM. If you have just tuned in, we are in conversation with Lori and Mindy from Soul Loved. We are talking about shoes for children that really makes a difference for each child. And so far our conversation has been, it's just been so uplifting, and listening to how it started with just you're just meeting somebody, and now how it has grown. And when we first started our conversation, we didn't talk about what. So I think we should start with that.
Yeah.
The second half of the show.
Well, a little bit about me, like I was sharing with you guys.
Yeah.
So I like to be more on the back end. I love Lori and Stacy to be more on the front end of, because they're so good at it, right? So I like to be on the back end of just kind of setting up everything and making sure that everything's executed correctly. But my background, I was in corporate sales for a long time. I got to travel the world, and then once I had kids, it was just really hard. So I decided to just kind of be local. And then I met Lori and Stacy actually in a small group at our church about 16 years ago.
16, yeah, I think 16 years ago.
So we all just started.
And we were all pregnant at the same time too.
I think so, right around the same time, because Stacy has
our boys are all a few months apart.
Stacy has a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I have almost a 13.
Yeah.
And then
No,
my
Heath
son,
is 13 too.
Oh, he
turned 13 last month.
in June. And then my son.
Hers is the oldest.
Yes, my son was born December, so
Yeah.
Heath and Devin are like 6 months apart.
Yeah.
But we were in a small group, and I remember even just having that conversation as friends of having kids.
Yes.
And then boom, I was pregnant, and then she was pregnant.
Yeah.
There was something in the water.
There was a lot of us pregnant that year. But yeah. Our boys are December, June, and September. So.
But the funny part is, Stacy she's still in the same house as she was in.
Yeah.
And then, and I was in a different subdivision. Lori was in a different subdivision. But we all live in the same subdivision now.
Now,
so
yeah.
We all moved closer.
Was that planned?
No.
No.
It
okay.
wasn't. I moved in there about
You've been
8.
there longer. Yeah.
And then Stacy's been there probably like 13. No.
15?
16, I think.
Yeah.
It's
15
when,
or 16 years.
When she moved into that house is when she started going to the church, because her neighbor introduced her to the church.
Yeah.
And then Lori moved in
3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago last week, actually.
Yeah. So now
So,
it's fun because we actually get to collaborate locally, really locally.
Yeah.
Like, we just drive over.
Yeah.
And we are always constantly thinking of different ways to raise money,
Yeah.
bring awareness, and that's kind of how we got invited to you guys. Because, one day we were saying, hey, we should totally look at different types of platform, not just runners, not just the typical type of way, but we want to bring the awareness to different states and different
parts of the
because
city.
if they want to donate, I don't care where you're sitting, in the world, right? You can totally donate to us anywhere. And I think that's the beauty of social media.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's available. There's not enough time really in this hour for us to talk about exactly what we do into detail, but you could definitely read about us on social media.
Yeah,
So.
for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
I know it's a little off topic when you're talking about you'll all, live in the same subdivision and all. And we are 6 of us, Chai Time girls. And we always talk about that, like, when our kids all, leave the nest and all that, we get one huge house.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
Great idea. Separate lives. But sure.
Yeah.
And we see some of these houses on Instagram, which is kind of like that. Like, that's what we should do. I should have a street.
Actually, a friend of mine did that. They bought, I think they bought 20 acres outside of Boston. and so when they retire, they're building houses, just like a half-mile apart kind of thing. And they're going to build this little community.
That's
cool.
So
yeah.
we should all do that.
Yeah, and it's great how, like, even when we started, it was just it's always been an hour show, but we have just, transformed ourselves too, like in this in the sense, like, we get to meet so many nonprofits that are doing so much work, right? And it motivates us, it inspires us. We know we cannot volunteer our time because we are all working or own businesses and all that, but by having this platform for organizations to come and talk about the work, and then reaching out to the listeners, to people out there who really want to do some kind of help in some way or form. So we feel like in a little way we are kind of like contributing.
Yeah.
No, you guys are.
It's
This is
wonderful.
amazing.
Yeah.
No, we really appreciate you guys allowing us to speak today because, we don't, this is a whole new avenue of audience that we get to expose and bring awareness that, we would never be able to if it wasn't for you guys.
So earlier you were talking about you guys did an event with who was it? Dunkin' Donuts?
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And so I was going to ask you, like, if a small business, like we own a small business, if we want to do like a shoe fundraiser event, how do we go about doing that?
So we can, just reach out to us and we can set up a time. We have some donation barrels if that's something that we've had some local businesses in our area do that, where they'll put out a donation barrel for an amount of time and kind of advertise that to get donations of new shoes.
You guys can offer a discount.
You can offer,
bring a pair of shoes.
Percentage.
And you get, 10% off of your meal, whatever, right? There's there's other restaurants that would dedicate a day and then say, okay, everything that we make today, we'll,
a percentage comes back.
Yeah. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay. We pick a nonprofit or even a school or something like that.
Yeah.
So we have that where we give 50% of our sales.
That's amazing. That's a huge percentage. Thank you. That's
most
awesome.
businesses are not that generous.
Most are like 10%. Sometimes 20. That's amazing. That makes a big impact for sure.
We've also had like the food donations as well during Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That's the time where the Houston Food Bank really needs a lot of food, right?
Yes.
So we try and we have the box out there, and in order to get more people to donate, we kind of give them gift certificates as a thank you.
Yeah.
So something
That's
like that.
wonderful.
I guess we can work together.
That would be amazing. Yeah,
yes, if there are any local businesses in Houston, surrounding areas that want to do that, we have bins available that we can leave with you for a month or whatever.
A couple weeks.
And people come and donate. Because the harder part is that a lot of the times we'll meet people at random places, but they don't live close enough to us. So then, it gets really hard. And so it'll be awesome to like have a bin somewhere in Houston. And that way people, they could donate socks, they can donate shoes.
Oh, socks too.
Yeah, absolutely. We give socks with every pair of shoes that we give to a student. they also get a few pairs of socks as well, because a lot of these kids don't have socks either, or the ones they have are torn and full of holes. So we want them to have socks as well to wear with their shoes. So we're always accepting sock donations as well as shoes.
So do you find like kids come and approach you all, like, or how do you know that kids? Sometimes kids are very quiet, right?
Yeah.
They just don't want to say anything, and also, and some kids are very bold, and they'll say, can I?
Yeah, when we're at these different events, or even when we've had, we rely a lot during the school year on the social workers and school nurses and contacts we have at a lot of campuses across the city. But when we meet those students, I think we all just work really hard to try and meet them where they're at. So sometimes you have those students who know exactly what they are looking for and are just excited to be getting shoes, and we'll tell you, even the littler ones are so cute when they're like, my favorite color is red, or I had a little girl yesterday, she said, my favorite color is glitter, and I said, girl, I got you. My favorite color is glitter too. You can never have enough sparkles, but and they tell you, and so that's a little easier as far as like what we'll pick to bring out to let them choose from. And then sometimes you have those students, especially a lot of the middle school kids and some of our high school students that are a little more reserved and shy, and it's just kind of meeting them where they are and try to bring out a little variety to see what makes their eyes light up. What are they immediately drawn to? So you kind of just work with them, start where they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so with your boys, do they also help out? Have they,
Yes.
do they realize that this is...
Yeah, they've been helping out
That's
since
great.
they were like 6.
We call them runners.
7 years old,
So
yeah.
a lot of times, because they're kids, they understand kids.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like when Lori and I are measuring the feet, I'll turn around and say, hey, Devin, go get me, size 8 in boys. And so then he'll kind of look at the kid, and he knows, and then he'll run and grab shoes and, bring it to me so that I'm not leaving the child, right?
Oh, okay.
So we call them runners.
Yeah.
And they're great because they kind of understand each other.
Yeah.
And then my daughter helps as well.
Yeah.
She's she's almost 12, and she understands girls.
Yeah.
So I'll tell her, hey, go run and get me size 3 in these, and she they're really good because they get kind of competitive too, because they'll grab like certain pairs, and then they're like, oh, she's gonna pick this one,
Yeah.
and then when they do,
they try to
so
guess.
excited. Sounds like fun. Yeah. So they kind of
love
make a
it.
game out of it, and they have a good time about it.
It's fun, yeah. And so sometimes they get roped into shoe shopping with us. I guess we'll need, especially for some of these back to school events, we will sometimes roll into Academy or another store,
like
but
5
Nike
carts
outlet,
going.
and have several carts. So we're like, bring the kids to help push all the carts. But they love helping pick out, and like she said, kind of competing with their guesses
And they're
of which
probably
one.
better than us.
They are.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, they're good at helping set up and tear down at events, and they're professionals at helping sort and take tags off of things and get paper out when you buy new shoes and they're full of the paper. We try to do all that ahead of time so that it's easier
so that the shoes are a pair.
Saves us some time when we're doing try-ons.
So y'all take the shoes to the schools?
We take shoes directly to schools where we've had someone reach out and say for a specific student or group of students, and they'll give us the specific sizes and if it's a boy or girl.
And then we'll take like 2-3 pairs.
Take a handful for them to pick from. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then a lot of our events are partnered with different school districts too. So
okay, so that's good to know, and it's nice to know like when the kids are involved, right? And they're having fun, because that's so important. They have to have fun. That's only when they put their whole heart and soul into it,
right?
And forced to do it. So, and I guess they learn too from.
They do, and they learn a lot of empathy for others, and to just see that you don't know everyone's story when you meet them and what they've been through, and not everyone has the same privileges or the same access to things that maybe our own children have. So I think it's just a good experience for them to have to see and learn not to judge others immediately, not to make those judgments when you're driving down the street and see a homeless individual on the corner. Like, you don't know their story, and it's the same with a lot of these students. They've come from all kinds of backgrounds, and a lot of them have been through a lot. So it's been really great for our own children to see helping others modeled and being kind, and then just learning that not to make those quick judgments about people, because you don't know. You don't know where they've been. So.
Yeah, and they get to spread the word too amongst friends.
Yeah, and it gives them some joy to be able to help someone else, and I think they have fun serving other students, and those students seeing other kids help, I think just helps them too. So it's just good.
It's all positive.
It's all positive.
It is.
Yeah.
So besides the marathon, are there any other upcoming events?
So we're in the midst of all of our back to school events. Like I mentioned earlier, we had one yesterday with Houston Angels. Next weekend we'll be doing an event with East Fort Bend Human Needs, and I think that one's going to be somewhere around 800 to 1,000 kids. It's a bigger one, and we've already got. We did a sign up a few weeks ago for volunteers for that, and it filled up within an hour. We were blown away. That's never happened that fast before. So we've got that one covered, and then the following day. So that was Saturday. On Sunday, we're going to be out in the city of Kendleton, which is south of Rosenberg. If you just keep heading south on 59 a little further. There's a huge need out there, and so we've partnered with them the last several years for some back to school events as well. I think they're actually zoned into Lamar Consolidated, but there's a lot of transportation issues because they are quite a drive from there, from the other events. So we work with them, and that's I think usually about 200-ish, 200 to 300 kids.
And it's really cool because a lot of the teachers that teach in Kendleton, they get involved and they volunteer with us, so they know the kids. So, the kids they're kind of quiet with us because they don't really know us, but then when they see
their teachers and former teachers, and it's great watching the teachers get to reconnect. As a teacher myself too, anytime you see your former students or students are going to be in your class that year, it's exciting and it's fun to connect with them outside of school too. So
this time of the year is the busiest time.
This time of the year is definitely our busiest time as far as events go, and where we're making the biggest amount of purchases of shoes and covering all of that. We've been really blessed. We recently had a Bovona law firm. Shout out and thank you to them. They made a very large donation and are sponsoring us right now. That's made it possible for us to supply shoes for a lot of these back to school events this year. So that was a huge blessing to us for sure. So yeah.
So before we wrap up, any message for our listeners today?
I guess just really thank you for listening and hearing our story. And if you're interested in helping support our mission, like I said, you can donate at our website is soulloved.org. Follow us on socials, and it's at soulloved on Instagram and Facebook. And if you are interested in helping in other ways, just reach out to us and we'll try to plug you in to help.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Mindy?
Oh, I mean, everything.
I'm
going to spell it out because a lot of times, the spelling is always tricky. So it's soul, like SOLE, and then loved, LOVED.org.
.org, yeah.
Yes.
So soul, like the bottom sole of your shoe, not your inner soul.
Not your inner soul. But,
that's your inner soul too.
That's true. It is your inner soul.
It is. It's our passion, and we've all, we've been doing this a lot of years now, and are really passionate about helping these kids. So
you ladies are such an inspiration.
Well, thank you so much.
Because you'll have your own lives, you'll have your family to take care of, you'll have your own jobs to go to, but still you'll make that time and that effort to make difference. Make a difference in kids' lives, and that is, I just don't have any words. Like, but
Thank
it's
you.
very, very inspiring. And I mean, for sure, we want to be part of that. We want to partner in some way. Yes, we did have you all here,
Yeah.
and hope we can raise more awareness together and showcase more of the work that you all are doing.
Yeah.
And events, if you all have, we would love to put it on our social media,
Awesome.
spread the word.
That'd be awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So
And I want to definitely emphasize that we are truly 100% volunteer-based
Yes.
organization. There's nobody on a payroll. There's not a single W-2 that we write to an employee because none of us take a paycheck.
Yeah.
Even
It's
our
all
founder.
volunteer. Yeah.
Even her gas that she drives in her car and all those miles that she put on there, those are just on her
Yeah.
her private car. It's so I'm a big believer in donating to an organization where they're going to use the funds for the right reasons. And so personally for me, I love the fact that I can proudly say that we are
We do that.
100% volunteer based,
Yeah.
including us.
So, just dawned on me, we are talking about volunteering, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, can kids also volunteer? Like, as young as what age would you all?
So we haven't really ever set a set age. If we have kids that are, probably under 16 or so, we'd ask, that a parent be with them. If they're too young to be able to follow direction and do things independently, it's probably, let's wait until they get a little bigger and a little more independent. Our own kids have been doing it a little bit longer and started younger because they were with us. We didn't have babysitters and we just had to make it work.
Right.
But, those young teens, preteens, if they're, if there's an opportunity that, your parents volunteering, they're welcome to join
You're
you.
welcome.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good
Yeah,
to know.
for sure. And then our high school students that need volunteer hours, if they can get themselves there and follow direction, then that's fine.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you, ladies. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you. Thank you
coming
for having
here.
us.
Yeah, it was really nice having this conversation,
Yeah.
and I've learned so much. We always get a lot of nonprofits here, but it's never been on not on shoes.
Yeah.
So it's totally different, and
Yeah.
it has we have learned a lot about.
Yeah.
And we go home and teach our children.
Go and look through your closet.
Because I always see these kids, right?
Yeah.
Teenagers and above.
Yeah.
They're always online. They're always looking for shoes.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is one way of giving back.
It is. It's a great way to
get
give
a pair
back.
of shoes
Yeah.
and donate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, listeners, for joining us here on Chai Time. We shall see you next week, same time, same place. Signing off. This is Chai Time on 99.5 FM. Before I sign off, I want to say a big shout out to Alifia's dad, who's come all the way from India, and he joined us here on air, which I missed it. Saying hello to him. So I hope he had fun today. Watching us ladies talk. He's saying, gosh, these ladies talk a lot.
I think he asked me a couple of questions earlier, and he's like, "This is so good. This is amazing. What work you guys are doing is really good."
Oh, thank
He
you.
really appreciates
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
All right, signing off, Chai Time on 99.5 FM.